today we are discussing the TikTok of ours that went viral.
Oops.
Hive Connective on TikTok. You can find us. But it was on the topic of social media managers not being salespeople. So, Paige and Rhea, if you guys want to touch on that and give your opinions.
Or do we?
First of all, we never have major traction like that on our
No.
takes on the internet.
We don't. So it was interesting.
Rhea, it was you in the video talking. So do you want to, what made you, so, okay, to set it up, first of all, just go watch the TikTok. It's 100 times easier if you just see it.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
But it was a stitch of another, I think like marketing pro kind of talking about this topic. And you sort of chimed in with our agency POV on the topic of social media, A, platforms, B, social media managers being expected to carry the weight of like driving sales.
Yeah. And I think we've run into it a lot as an agency with clients where they don't understand the world like we do. So they'll come to us and say, like, as a business owner, I need to see numbers and I need to see like more followers and I want my video to go viral. And it's like what you're saying to me is like you have a scarcity and you're using social media as an avenue to save or support or not support, because that's what it is, save or like boost up your sales in your business. And what we found with that is then our creativity gets stumped because we know what to do. It's a long-term goal when it comes to establishing your brand, building the brand trust, building a following that like knows you're authentic. So when we have people that have those goals, it's like, well, you're kind of like shitting on the whole strategy that we have in place because we can't just like skip to of course, everybody wants to go viral and get 1 million followers. So when I saw her stitch, I was like, yes, this is like what we need to normalize more of because social media is still such a new industry that I think it's important to set these boundaries.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you have like social media managers out on their own. Like we had so many people commenting like, oh my gosh, this is me. And now my job is more salesy and I don't like it. Yeah, because you didn't go into sales for a reason. And so it just like, I stitched it without thinking and I was like, I'm going to post this without asking the team's opinion on it.
That's
but
what happens
it
when
worked
you
out
have,
well.
You're our poster on the
poster.
TikTok. So you have free reign. Yeah, but it was and it was very articulate the way you phrased your point. But I think what was really interesting that netted out as a result of like staking the claim, like you can watch the TikTok, but you kind of started out by saying we as a team are not taking clients whose primary goal for social media is to drive sales.
Yep.
And I think what happened was we like accidentally like split the waters on people's like feedback to our positioning. Like you just mentioned, the social media manager crowd, they felt really seen by being able to see someone else in the field say that and to express that like, yeah, like that's a really frustrating expectation to be held to. I love that a lot of people said like they were thinking about like leaving the world of social media management and this made them reconsider, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But we did get some people who did not like it. And it was fascinating to me that it seems the thread that connected all the people who like didn't like it. First of all, there was a lot of people that wouldn't get over the fact that you said what we do.
What we do. And they're like, you said do.
Okay, let's grow up. Grow up, please. But the other camp who was like not interested in our take seemed to be, in my opinion, no shade, traditional marketers. People who were really concerned about, well, ROAS, return on ad spend. First of all, we're talking organic socials. I don't know what you're talking about, ROAS. Yeah.
I also want to say it was probably a little bit of like business owners who do hire companies and like are feeling attacked because they're like, wait, I think this.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. And anyway, so the takes in the comments were really interesting because they were very polarized. Like it was either like, thanks for saying this. I totally agree with you. This, all the way. Or I'm confused. Why would you spend money on social media marketing if it doesn't drive sales?
Everything is sales, they say.
So here's what we need to break down, because this is the other thing, right? Like that's a 15-second TikTok. You did a fantastic job explaining your point, but it is the tip of an iceberg of a major conversation that needs to happen in social media marketing
for sure
right now, which is that is not the way to approach social media, and it's not the way that we approach social media for our clients or for ourselves at all. Because I think what we're like calling out here is a number of things. Number one, sales is the bottom of a traditional marketing funnel.
Yeah.
It is the finish line that you want potential customers to cross. In what world does anything you know, like nobody goes straight to the bottom of the funnel. We know this, you know what I mean? You have to nurture people. You have to, you know, build a relationship. And social media is at its very like purest form, like it's a top of funnel place to be.
Yes.
It's meeting people for the first time, or maybe not the first time, but meeting them where they are, right? Like you're on social channels. So,
and I would say, to specify what you said, your presence on social media.
yes. Yeah.
Because of course there's the paid ad side of the world, which is like, people also in our comments tried to say, okay, but like, what about paid ads? It's like, yes, that's not.
Yeah. We were talking about organic social first of all.
Organic.
But anyway, I think ultimately, like, I can't stop thinking about this because it's been just a fascinating conversation, but what your TikTok couldn't say in this many words, but what the point of talking about this is we are saying that social media, your organic social media presence, should not have a primary goal of driving sales.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that social media isn't going to result in nurtured customer relationships, which can lead to sales, lead generation, like, you know, pulling in an audience and capturing them so that you can continue to remarket to them. Those things definitely happen because of social media. Yes. I was thinking about it like in a real world example, and I felt like I was maybe on the defense a little bit because everyone in the comments was like, this is stupid.
Right.
But a great example is the Hive Connective. Okay. We are a social media agency. We take clients and stuff, but we also do like sell products and like there's things you can buy on our website, basically. People have purchased stuff from us. And the only way that those sales have occurred, if you really want to be specific, is through social media. Like we don't exist anywhere else. And we only exist online.
Not even by us like talking about those products.
But that's the most important part. Like if you want to be specific, all of our sales of anything we've ever sold have come from social media, but not social media content that we created with the goal of selling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We create content that brings value and drives community.
Yeah.
And as a result, we have captured people's interest and attention enough that they eventually made their way down through the funnel to purchasing something.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that you can't sell on social media. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're saying if your goal is to sell, you're coming at it all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
And it's not going to perform. Like at the end of the day, people also wanted to talk about measurement.
Yep.
Content that is like super salesy. We all know this. It doesn't work.
Right.
You can do that all day long. It does not work because nobody wants to be like directly sold to like that. Mm-hmm. And if it did work, then everyone would be successful on social media, you know, using that traditional tactic.
And to that point, I want to talk more about the measurement thing next because that was huge. But before we get into that, to your point, if we as the Hive Connective started our TikTok and we only posted videos that were like, here's our downloadable. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's a course. And we only posted stuff like that. Nobody is going to bite because there's a million other of us out there. Mm-hmm. What we did do was we started and we shit posted and we posted whatever came to our mind, whatever hot takes we had, whatever trends we wanted to bump in on. And like, cause we like doing it. And eventually then when we did have products and we mention it here or there, or we were able to put a link in our bio after we hit 1,000 followers, we've built this trust. We've built this like personality that people have followed. So they're like, oh, I recognize, whether they recognize us or not, they can go on our TikTok and see we're not just trying to sell and we're not here just to like get your money, but we're here because we care about the topic. We're positioning ourselves as thought leaders in this space. So then there's this like ultimately this trust that is built and this awareness that is built that then leads them on their own accord to the sale.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to say like that's where it's built.
Yeah.
Like you cannot come at it and just do sales content, push. Because it's not going to build any trust. And they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go to this other company that offers the same thing that I trust them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the comments were saying like executives don't understand this idea. Like I wish they did more. And I think that's because this is a much bigger topic for another day, but so my background before social media is public relations. Mm-hmm. PR was always one of those communications functions that was under pressure to be like, what is the return on investment? What is the purpose for a long time? I think that's still happening. I'm not in the industry anymore, but I'm sure that's still like a conversation. But generally speaking, an executive at a company or at an organization, without being shown hard numbers, understands that there is a return on investment in having positive press, right? Like in good PR and having, having a PR firm to manage that thing. So I feel like social is stepping into that hot seat of like, well, what's the point? It's like, well, we've been here in this conversation before. We've talked about it in the context of PR, and now it's social that's under the same scrutiny. But the other thing is, like, I don't even know. This like gets me so amped up because I'm like, it's not fun to have to justify like your field of work, but it's especially frustrating when people understand there's value but aren't willing to accept that like that value might be different than they think it should be. Right? Like there is as much value in fostering relationships with your customer base via social media as there is a sale. But if you're talking numbers, some people don't want to hear that because they want to talk bottom line impact. But that bottom line impact starts somewhere, and that somewhere is in relationship building. And frankly, a single sale is not the same as a loyal customer who is loyal to you because they feel connected to you. They feel in community with you. They feel like they can relate to you as a brand. Like I think we all know that. So that's the game we play in social media is creating that space. And there's just so much more that we can do with social media that's impactful if we take away the pressure of selling. And someone even said that in the comments. They were like, as soon as I stopped treating my Instagram as a business tool and just focused on building rapport and community, I saw more sales. And that's the anecdotal thing that no one wants to hear, but is so effing true. Like you will see movement if you stop, hard selling on social media.
And to the point of like, executives don't get this. And some comments were like, oh, I wish I could send this to my old boss because this is why I quit. You can only do so much to try to explain to like the higher ups this exactly. You can send them this podcast episode and hope that they listen to it. And at the end, they're like, oh, okay, I see the value. But if they don't, like there's nothing you can do about that. And there's another business that will understand it. So I always reference back to Duolingo, but like, look at the power of what just being a silly little bird on an app can do. I mean, I didn't pick up Duolingo since I took French in high school and was forced to do it for homework. And then when I started seeing the little owl on TikTok, I was like, let me learn some Arabic.
Let's go.
Let me get on here and I'll get on once a week when I'm bored,
Yeah.
So it's like, I wouldn't have done that if they were trying to sell me or give me paid ads or TikTok ads. I would have swiped right past that. Never. But because they build this funness around it, it's like there are companies that are willing to do it. I think there's a lot of companies that get like really witty on Twitter and like are a little bit
that was like the OG like personified brands or like Wendy's and
and they weren't
McDonald's,
selling anything. They weren't like buy my 4 for $4. They were like having completely different conversations, and because of that your brain thinks, oh my gosh, Wendy's. So to the point of the executives, it's like you can only do so much, but like don't waste your time where it's not going to be received. Your talent can be put elsewhere where it's actually seen and encouraged. But to the point of the measurement, because that was the biggest question that we got in the comments.
That's the other thing. You can totally measure this stuff on social. You absolutely can measure it. And if you're in a situation where you're not getting the buy-in, like before you quit, like you could try to use measurement as a way to show this. But there's two caveats. Number one, if the business or organization is not appropriately measuring a customer journey, period. Like if they don't know how people come to them or why they make purchases or why they become customers in general, how is social media going to be able to like remedy that problem? So there's like an overarching thing where it's like, if you're going to use digital properties, you better have a really firm system of like tracking, you know what I mean? Like it's as simple as like, it's silly stuff like, using trackable links, like UTM links on whenever you're posting or sending emails or whatever it might be. Like if you don't have a way to identify, you can like, I was even talking to someone about this recently. Like it's like maybe not everyone answers, but like you can like put things like, where did you hear about us at the end of your sales process? And it is interesting to get that data back. And you might be surprised at how many people say social media as a place. So that's one great way to measure. Like if you are literally selling a product, put that as a question. Because
I'm always diligent to do that.
Yeah, me too. I always make sure they know.
Companies' social media team.
So that's one thing you can do. But the other thing is around measurement. We measure all kinds of things on social, and it's really important to have good measurement practices, whether you're trying to measure sales or not. But to to zoom out, when we talk about measurement, like what does that really mean? We're trying to put data against a goal, right? Like we did something with intention and now we want a number that shows what we did and why we did it. So I was thinking about why I love our process when we work with new clients, because when we work with any new client, we do an audit and we deliver back a strategy, even if they've already got one, we do it anyway. And our strategy is really driven by goals that we put in place, but are driven by the goals that our clients share with us. And what we do, which I don't think is genius in any way, but makes good sense to me now, as this conversation starts, is we always set social media goals. And they relate to business goals, but they are not the business goals.
Let's say that again for the people that didn't hear that.
A social media goal should relate and support a business goal, but it is not a business goal. It's a social media goal.
Period.
Okay, so if your business goal is sales, your social media goal is not sales. That's not how that works, right? Your social media goal becomes measurable things like, increase engagement rate by 20 or 30%, grow engaged audience by X%, drive X additional amount of traffic to web, right? Like these are social media goals, and they're social media goals because they can be measured on the social platform, period, point blank. That is to me the difference between a social media goal and a business goal. And it's like this weird thing that like I don't think everyone can wrap their head around.
Yeah.
But all that to say, so when we measure, we're measuring the social media goal, and then we can relate the social media goal back to the business goal, right? So we can say, yes, we increased traffic to web by 35% in the last 3 months via social media. AKA, we got people to your website. Did they do anything once they got there? Now that's becoming a different set of tactics. It's a different set of measurement. Definitely, that's why social media marketing, advertising, communications, product, like all of these teams have to work in tandem because it is like a handoff process, right? But that doesn't, whatever happens beyond the social media part doesn't negate the value of the social media, work or the goal that we were measuring.
And to that point too, sales can be a guide for your social media strategy. Like, for example, we have a client who has brick and mortar stores, but they also sell on Goldbelly. And we had posted a reel that wasn't selling, but it was just showing showing how they pack for Goldbelly orders. And we got an email after that reel went live on a Monday, and our client was like, wow, our Goldbelly sales went up this weekend. And so we were like, heard, we'll put more content about you. Like, again, not selling that you're on Goldbelly, but we'll put more content out there referencing Goldbelly and that you're there. Because it's all about the awareness. So like you can use your sales and like, where are sales low? Okay, make some content that supports and brings awareness to that without saying like, buy my thing or give me your money.
Yeah. And that is why I love social media, because you can do stuff like that without having to like reinvent the wheel, you know, like you can, for us and for me and I know for our team, like we're making educated guesses, but we always let data lead the way. Like if the data says your, audience on social doesn't like a certain type of content or isn't responding to a certain type of content, switch, right? Like that's what we do. It's where we take our guidance from. It's how we've refined content strategies for other clients. And it all, I just keep coming back to, there was this one comment that was like, if you can't measure the bottom line impact, then what's the point? It's like, no. The point is that doing this work, working against these goals, refining process, changing content, responding to what your community is sharing with you, like that's all valuable work. Like, and I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but as someone who loves data and who loves measurement and who will in a moment rattle off a bunch of social stats you can measure to prove ROI, I also think there's something to be said for the stuff that's immeasurable, the anecdotal, we see it so much. Like I will not not take a moment to pause and really, appreciate the value of, which has no measurement on it, right? The value of a comment on, that same client that'll say like, oh my God, this looks so good. I'm going to stop in and get one today. Can I confirm that they spent $5.95 on that Sunday that day just because they saw our Instagram reel? Maybe I can't directly measure that and put it on a report, but I can, that's not like that's also real. It's also
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
You can't just like not value that kind of feedback just because you can't put it as a number on an Excel sheet.
Exactly. And I think that's the shift we're also seeing. Like social is breaking a lot of what we know to be true in like professional industries.
Yeah.
And I think that pushback we're seeing is like the uncomfortability of that transition, is like not being able to accept that not everything is going to be black and white and have hard, like what they're saying, but that's just the world now. And again, if you're not willing to do it, that's fine. Try your way.
Yep.
You'll be exhausted by the end.
And I'll just add, I think measurement should be taken, it's very, very important, should be taken with a grain of salt, because let's talk about some measurements that have been industry standard for a really long time that are presumably BS. Advertising conversion statistic for PR hits, when people are like, this is worth $100,000 if you had paid for this placement, like if you get a good hit in like a publication. I have always had a bone to pick with that one, because I'm like, that's not possible. You cannot like, I mean, now maybe it is, but like you can't buy, that is not a 1-to-1 conversion by any means. So why we ever put that $sign against it, beyond me. I think everyone agrees too in the PR world that that's like a BS thing. Another one, and this is going to make some people mad. When people try to sell you like a billboard and they say,
I was thinking that too.
Yes.
I was like,
this man who used to buy billboards.
Yes.
Right? And they're like, oh, this is seen by like 50,000. How do you know? I know you count the cars, all right, but you can't guarantee me that everyone was looking at the billboard.
Facts. What if you're an anxious driver?
Yes, you don't look at that.
Or a distracted driver. You're not looking at that shit.
Exactly. Or some of the billboards, I mean, typically my first opinion is like, wow, this is like really tacky.
Yes.
And
so even if 50,000 people see it,
John Morgan.
Boo.
Yes.
Who's not even from Philly, may I add. He literally just took a Philly word and said billboard.
Right. Or like
Anyway,
Steven Singer.
Yeah.
Stop
like,
it.
Yeah.
King
so
of
like
billboards.
we're talking about it because it's in our face, but have you ever once went to one of their websites
Absolutely
or
not.
engaged in their social media?
Yeah.
Or told them how much you hate their billboard? Not even.
No,
thank you.
And if you're a marketer, like, yeah, you can report those numbers back, but like, are you able to say that drove a sale? Like, I think we need to be way more transparent as an industry, as a communications and marketing industry writ large. We need to be way more transparent about saying things like, this is our best guess.
Yeah.
This measurement is as close to accurate as it can be without us actually knowing. But I think we need to acknowledge the gray area is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think we need to, because also too, like, we come up against this all the time. Like, people want to know, like, concretely, like, why didn't that video do well? Or like, why am I not gaining followers or whatever? I think we talked about this last episode. Truth of the matter is, we can only know as much as we can know. We don't live inside the machine. So we can give you all of the resources and like understanding that we've cultivated from working in the industry. And also there are definitely concrete best practices and things that work and don't work, but it does change all the time. And we can't, like, I would never use the word guarantee with a client, never in a million years.
Right.
And that is okay. And I think as an industry, as professionals, we should be able to have that kind of conversation and say that, because I don't think it negates the value of what we do by any stretch of the imagination. And I think we would all be better off in C-suites, in meetings with executives, if we were able to recognize that and say, knowing that we have, these few question marks or pieces of gray area, we're still moving ahead on all of our business goals, because we're driving them with social media goals, and here's how we're doing it.
Yes.
And so rapid fire, I will share a couple things you can measure on social media that are important stats. And I'll also say this: if you are doing social media, you shouldn't not have measurement running in the background all the time.
Yeah.
Right. There are lots of free programs that'll do it, like just pull reports and analytics for you. I know like Hootsuite, I'm sure, is free still at some level. We use Sprout Social and Measure Studio.
Shout out Thomas.
To basically, they're pulling in the data for us at all times for all of our client accounts, so that we have a historical record of kind of everything that happened. And tools like Measure Studio are even more sophisticated, because they are, you have to go see their platform in a demo. It's just fantastic. They also have the ability to use AI to help measure, understand why some content is performing better. They'll like pull your, things that are performing above average and give you the like reasons why, like because it featured a dog or whatever. I'm like totally not doing it a service here, but so cool. Have these things set up in the background so you have them to refer back to, because measurement, the best way to show measurement is to show change over time, not just a standalone metric. You can also use things like we said, Sprout will pull it. Later does analytics.
Yeah.
Any of these things will work. You can also use the platform analytics themselves. That works. But yeah, have it running because then you can go back to them at all times. But you can show metrics like, I think average engagement rate is a fantastic one. Who cares what you're posting if nobody that follows you or is in your, engaged user circle is actually, responding to the content?
Arguably, that's the best
I agree.
ROI.
Yep.
If they're talking about measurement, you want a number for this industry, it's your engagement rate.
Yep. Because you can move the needle on that.
Yes.
And you can show it, you can prove it. Silly stuff like, traffic to web, link clicks. You can always use a tracking link to measure specific links, like per post, which one drove how many clicks, but also things like analytics from your link in bio if you're on Instagram or on TikTok. Things that matter on the granular level too are like average watch time. Like if you can say like, look, people are paying it. Like we put out a 1-minute video and people watched 38 seconds of it, when the average watch time on a piece of video content is less than 2 seconds.
Yep.
That's not nothing. Like that indicates interest. It indicates that you're captivating your audience. Like that's a big one. Yeah, there's so many, but like I don't know.
Those are the important ones.
I feel like average engagement rate is my favorite one. But anyway, all this to say, you can measure. You can measure. So
that commenters. I am very curious too what our listeners' opinion is on this. So I'm gonna say go post a video about your opinion on this to TikTok and tag us. And next podcast episode, we will play back some of the videos that were tagged in if we get any, and like continue talking about this a little bit because I think this is very important.
Hugely important. And as social media evolves, it's only going to become more important.
Yeah.
Especially as social evolves towards what we see as coming down the line, which is way more community driven, way more, closed spaces. Like, that's going to be social very soon. It is now. And if, we got to look out for what's coming down the line too.
Yeah.
So,
and there's no rule book, people.
No,
we're making the path as we go in this industry. So let's listen to each other and help each other out because that's all we can do.
Exactly. And bottom line, social media is worth investing in for a number of other reasons that aren't measurement or ROI related. One of them being, if you have a team doing your social media, you get time back in your day to not worry about it. So just to be clear,
so just let it to the pros.
Let us do it for you.
So all that to say, social media managers are not sales people.
You heard it here. So stay tuned for next time when we reply to anyone's TikToks that gives their opinions.
And now we got a good segment to get into. So let's ride.
Okay, so I was left in the dark with this one. So I'm going to kick it off to you guys. So
I can't wait for this segment.
Go
okay,
on.
This is going to be, the segment is called Social Tea TLDR. And in the past week, there has been some drama exploding on TikTok. And when I started to bring this up on our team call this week, we quickly realized that Michaela had no idea what we were talking about. I only had medium idea, and Paige was fully tuned in. So I was like, great, let's talk about this on the podcast. What are the keywords of the social tea we're talking about this week?
I'm going to give you the keywords. You give me a do you know what's happening or not response. Ned Fulmer, the Try Guys cheating scandal.
Oh, yeah.
It's a yes from Maria.
It's a no for me.
Okay, well, it's about to be a yes from you.
Let's get into it.
Okay, this one's particularly interesting to me because, okay, so let's start. Who is Ned Fulmer to you, Raya?
I literally learned who he was this week.
Okay, and who is he?
He is on the Try Guys. They're like a channel, and they try things, and he's in this group, and their this came from BuzzFeed.
Yes, they were all BuzzFeed employees,
and then this became their own thing.
Yeah, and in the mass exodus of BuzzFeed employees, they were among those who left and retained their format and still do what they did during BuzzFeed days. And so, worth noting here, they have been around the YouTube space in particular a very long time. They are, I would think some people consider them to be like, like OG
people. Yeah. Okay.
Michaela, do you have any context about the Try Guys?
I have heard of them before. Okay. Never watched any of the videos.
So you're not a consumer of the content?
Not really a consumer of the content, but I'm here to learn about it. Please enlighten me.
Great. So this segment's important to me because you can't be a social media manager and not see these things happening on social media. So
Yes.
like, here we go. I have a Twitter thread by user Cami T. Womi.
Shout out
Cami
to
T. Womi
you.
with 2 Y's.
We'll link the thread in the
Cami,
description.
thank you for your investigative work. She is keeping a running thread of what's happening, which has since like tripled. But here's what you really need to know: the down and dirty. So this all started when fans began to notice that Ned was not included in some of the Try Guys content that's been being put out. They're like very actively online, podcasts, YouTube videos, the whole 9 yards. So he wasn't in like 3 videos and 3 podcast episodes. So everyone's like,
they're weird.
what? Because again, they've been around for 5 ever. So it's like, what's happening here?
Mhm.
And you should also know, we should back up. Ned, each of the guys has a very distinct kind of personality in the Try Guys
Okay.
universe. And Ned is a my wife guy. So his sort of like MO is that he was consistently talking about his wife. Her name is Ariel. I don't want to not give her credence here.
Yes.
Ariel. Ariel is, you should also know, actually, I don't know. I don't think she worked for BuzzFeed, but she's like really plugged into the BuzzFeed like employee world as well. Eugene, one of the other Try Guys, and Ariel are, my understanding is, very good friends, like best friends.
Was that the guy with the glasses? Eugene?
No,
Like
that's
the main
Zach.
guy? Okay. All right, keep going.
Eugene, side note, had a really fantastic coming out video on the internet a couple years ago. It was like a dance thing. It was really, really cool.
Oh,
Very well done. Okay, so Ned's not in the content. Everyone's like, WTF, where is Ned? At the same time, he's being like edited out of content. So now they're thinking, not only is he not in current content,
That they're trying
he's
to
being
nix this guy.
removed. What is
Jeez.
happening?
Okay.
Okay. So then the Try Guys say, we're going to just post once a week instead of every day or whatever they were doing before.
So much dramatic.
Yeah.
change
And
on
everyone's
the
like,
cadence.
no, wait, what? So, okay. Skipping ahead. And Dumois actually posted about this week, which this is all alleged. I feel like I have to say that. I mean, sort of. He's sort of confirmed, but I'm not trying to get in trouble. But long story short.
Alleged.
So somebody sends videos basically of Ned and, unfortunately, an employee of the Try Guys, a producer of their content whose name is Alex. She's been in a lot of videos and content.
Who also just got engaged this year.
Who also just got engaged. She got engaged in 2021, I think, to her
sorry.
a partner of like 10, her boyfriend of 10 plus years, who, by the way, if I'm not wrong, who she got engaged to was formerly the social media manager of the Try Guys.
Oh.
Wait, because he has a play in this.
Yes.
Oh.
His name is Will.
The video he posted, did you see it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get there.
So it's
Are you
it's
following
blurry
me, Kim?
photos.
It's juicy. Yeah.
It's
It's
blurry
a lot,
photos
but-
of Ned, 2 children, longtime wife, and Alex, employee of Ned, canoodling, basically, at none other than, well, there was 2 instances here. One was of them at a bar, and the other was a fan who ran into them at a Harry Styles concert when they were together alone. So, okay, bad. So then that starts circulating, and this is when the TikToks start, because people are like, say it ain't so. It can't be that Ned from the Try Guys is cheating on his wife with Alex, no less.
And like the ether is putting this together, right?
Yes.
Try Guys have yet to say anything at this point.
Yes. Then the activity starts. Ariel takes wife out of her Instagram bio. Ned limits the comments on his Instagram. Will unfollowed Ned, I believe. Long story short, this is all happening, right? Like, who cares what was actually happening? But like, basically,
And people are.
yes, everyone's watching
it.
every movement.
Right.
Then finally, the Try Guys Instagram posts a statement, black text on a white background.
And what was
You know
this
what it is.
this week?
This was a day ago, I
Okay.
believe. This feels like it's been happening all week long. It's been like a day.
Okay.
The Try Guys statement simply says, Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys. As a result of, he is the Try Guys, okay? Like, insane. As a result of a thorough internal review, we do not see a path forward together. We thank you for your support as we navigate this change. So they basically said, he's cut off.
Bye, Ned.
Pitch perfect, you're out. Shortly thereafter, then, everyone's like, oh my God, so they must, clearly they knew. At this point, everyone understands that it's Alex who's implicated here as well. And that Alex's fiance, and, obviously they're just like, this is a tangled web and this is messy.
Mhm.
at this point, it's not in this thread, but at this point, there are other people kind of starting to say, I'm not surprised. Ex-BuzzFeed employees who are pseudo commenting on it by tweeting and things, saying like, essentially implying like, we done knew this. Like, not that exactly this, but like everyone's kind of like, yeah.
Dang.
Which is sending the internet into a tizzy, particularly Try Guys fans who are like, no, not Ned. Which
specifically
I had
Ned,
to
who
post
is
about.
the wife guy, my wife guy.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's wow.
I've been seeing a lot of people say like, don't make it your personality if you can't stick
That's
to
what
it.
I'm saying. Okay, so then my favorite thing is happening too. TikToks are being made of things that Ned has said in videos that didn't seem bad at the time, but are
But
now
just aging
poorly.
Oh
terribly.
no. Okay.
Things about cheating on your partner, like
Reactions he had to other people
things about
saying
like
stuff.
that would be illegal to date your employee. Ned, sweetie, that's what you did. Okay, so at this point though, neither Ned nor Alex nor Ariel have said anything. Only the Try Guys. But then Ned drops a bomb.
Nedster.
Nedster. Yesterday, no, 27th. Is that 2 days ago? Yeah, 27th.
Mhm.
In the middle of the day. Family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship. I'm sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused and the guys and the fans, but most of all to Ariel. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's what I'm going to focus on my attention. Okay.
Okay, Ned. Call it with your pants
Michaela,
down,
so
man,
far,
boobs.
what is your take on the fact that he actually made a statement?
I mean, I feel like he's only making this statement because he got caught.
Right.
Yeah, but like, I'm a little. I need to do I feel like a deeper dive into the Try Guys to get more of like a better feel for all of them.
Well, your phone's
specifically Ned.
listening right now, so you'll get
You'll
served
get
the content
now I'm
after,
very
'cause you got
excited.
on Silver Beach Walking Lady with the Biscuit. It took about an hour for you to get that after we talked about it. So
I literally DM'd it to Ryan. I was like,
She's
no.
like, "No."
But please tell me like what your thoughts are like with him making a statement, because I mean, initially it's giving me very much like Adam Levine vibe.
I know.
Mhm.
The
It's funny you say
consensual
that.
workplace relationship thing, I'm like, it's not yet consensual is not the issue here, my friend.
no.
Right.
It's that you were both in other relationships. And also, moreover, like, this is such a bigger topic, but like, if you are their boss,
The power
that is not
dynamic
consensual.
It's not
Actually,
consensual.
like it is. You can both consent, but you are always going to be exercising a power over your employee,
Right.
whether you want to or not. Like you can, and I recognize that as someone who, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you guys are my friends. I'm also your boss. Like, I can't take that away. I can't
Right.
not.
It
that
comes
can't
with the
be untrue.
territory.
Exactly.
It is
Yes.
inherent.
Or just like a
Yeah.
morals.
Yes.
So then,
exactly.
long story short, then Ariel responds and basically says, thanks to everyone that reached out. You know, like, nothing's more important to me and Ned than our family. So, but she's already removed wife from her bio and stuff. So, like, people are
Just
thinking,
like
like,
queen.
yeah.
Good move. girl.
Good.
Try Guys rebranded. But then the real tea is that the Dumois, somebody,
Mhm.
which is totally unsubstantiated, but somebody wrote into Dumois with a very detailed timeline of what was happening that basically confirmed that this has been going on for a year. That what I'm hearing is that the other guys didn't know that it was happening, and when they found out and realized it was an employee, they immediately launched a review and
Mhm.
and sort of like Ned's an owner of the company, I guess, so they couldn't put him on
Mhm.
like you can't like fire him, but you can put him on like
The administrative
Yeah.
leave.
and ultimately that's why they effectively said what they said, because he had to step away basically.
Yeah.
He can't, you know.
You can't review while he's there.
Yeah, and you can't fire an owner, but
Yeah.
but you can ask them to like leave
Mhm.
basically. But the Dumois timeline also indicated that that the reason it's kind of coming out now is because Ariel, I guess, flew to New York to be in a video because she's sometimes in content, and flew to New York to meet the guys that were here to do a video. And when she landed, had been contacted. I don't want to get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure by Will, because it's my understanding that he was the fiance of Alex, was the first to like
Is that Will?
get word. That's Will. So he reached out to Ariel and told her, and so she landed in New York and just didn't like that. She then was not in the videos. And like, that's where this kind of the current timeline kind of kicks off, which is why when it sort of started to get out.
So when you say it's been going on for a year, you mean the relationship or the investigation?
The relationship.
Okay. So then Ariel had just found out as well.
Correct.
Okay.
I am pulling up the tickety-tackety about it because it's very interesting. But I have to just say one thing about it, which I made a video about it on TikTok. I later hid it because I didn't feel like engaging in the discourse around it. But as you know, not cool of somebody to take advantage of their power in a situation, even if in the workplace. That for me is like flag number one. Yeah. Flag number two, clearly it's not good when other people harm people, like their wives, or you know, they make mistakes, they do things, you know what I mean? Yeah. They make intentional choices that hurt other people. It's bad. But I think we do this funny thing as a society where like anyone who says we don't expect celebrities to be perfect is fucking lying. Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. We have an extremely high barometer for all celebrities, anyone of celebrity status, to be perfect, and to not be infallible, not make mistakes. Like, and I think we do that. This is my hot take. I think we do that because we know as human beings that it is not possible to be perfect. We all know that. Even if we are perfectionists or whatever, deep down we know perfection is not achievable. Right. But we want to think it is because there's a lot of reasons for that. But I think we're sold a bill of goods that's like, if only I could be perfect, then everything would be great. Happiness, whatever, success, wealth, blah, blah, blah. So we project the potential for perfection onto celebrities because they in some way seem inhumane to us. Like they're not human. Yeah. Even when we say that, like, I think that we need to have a bigger conversation about the fact that we say that that's not true, but it is true.
Yeah. That is so true.
Like we just do. It doesn't matter. Because I know I do, even if I say that I don't.
Yeah, definitely. Like we can know, like, you know, no way perfection is not possible. But like, because it also is, these people are perceived as perfect. But yeah. So, but we do. We expect people to be perfect, and they're not perfect.
That's a really good point.
It does suck when we see this kind of stuff happen. It's shitty. It's so shitty. But at the end of the day, that is a human being and honestly, like, I cannot tell you whether or not Ned is a good person or not, because that's not the point here. You know what I mean? Like, good people can make intentionally bad decisions. Yeah. And good people can hurt other people. And so I think what sucks is that this had to play out. I mean, it comes with the territory, surely. And sometimes, you know, justice is served in funny ways, like, you know, public crucifixion. But like, ultimately, I think the bigger thing we should be thinking about is the fact that we had this response from, you know, and trust me, if Harry Styles ever mess up, I'd be mad too. And I'd be saying something, but has messed up. I want to be clear. It's not perfect. Yeah. But, the comments and the discussion that's like, no, this can't be, like, say it ain't so. It's like, we need to really, we need to reel it back and think about why we are so devastated when people like this do ultimately normal bad things. Like, this is normal bad. This happens way more than we like to think. And it is part of imperfection in humanity, and it's part of...
That's such a good point.
So it's weird because I'm like, I will consume all of this as an internet vulture. But also then at the end of the day, I'm like, damn.
It's good to bring some realism back to it.
Yeah,
I think
so true.
A lot of social media is escapism. And like, I do it. I disassociate probably every day at some point just on my phone to like just tap out of being in my brain. And so when you find yourself in that space, then you romanticize other people and you escape to their lives and what you think that their lives are. Beyonce and Jay-Z. And Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce. I'll never forget that. I was just like, I've like felt like my parents had a divorce. And I was like, why? Why did I feel that? I've never met these people in my life. I listened to their music, you know? Yeah. So I think it's really important to like have a touch of reality and have these conversations, especially as professionals in the industry. Yeah. Like, we would only be the cog in the machine if we just sat here and gossiped without like
absolutely
letting this be a disclaimer. Like,
so true.
You can sip the tea, but also read the ingredients of the tea and know what you're teaing.
Yeah. And know when you need to just start saying not interested to the TikToks anymore so that you don't hear about it, because you better make some room in your brain because something else is coming down the line.
Always.
As it always is.
And I was seeing somebody say like, this is like the first big scandal for like and that's not true, but like this, like the OG YouTubers,
Yeah.
and like that's definitely not true. It's the first
Yeah.
big scandal, but we keep having these happen, and it's like the more that it happens, the more we're gonna have this conversation. So,
Which I think is
about it.
a great point, because I feel like this is a tough. It's like not even just celebrity; it's like parasocial relationship.
Like I think
person.
David Dobrik comes to my head right away. Like we
Yes.
love him, but we also have all seen like the
Yes.
stuff that goes on that's not
Mhm.
great. So
And it's like bad when they're both a celebrity and someone who seems normal.
Yeah.
We're like, oh no, they're just like normal dudes. Like we're
Right.
friends with them.
it's
Like,
even almost worse than like a celebrity
Yeah.
that's a musician or an actress, because they seem more real because we get more access to their life.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
So,
We'll hear your thoughts on this too.
Yeah.
If you want to.
so Michaela, does that catch you up?
It does, and I will be going on to the Try Guys
Yeah.
TikToks, and
She's going to
the
be an
whole-
expert.
yes, I
Very
will
soon.
report back next time with my full recap and understanding and opinion.
There you go.
But thank you for taking me on this journey.
Anytime, anytime.
Well, that was our second episode of The State of Social.
Done did.
We
Yes.
stated the social.
Socials have been stated. Follow us on, Michaela, what's the outro you do?
I was like, where can you guys find us? On Hive Connective TikTok, Hive Connective Instagram, and yeah, that's where we are. And
Let us know your thoughts on this episode.
Tell us if you hate
Yeah.
it. Tell
You
us
can
if
like
you love
leave a
it.
comment here, but we really just want to see your video. So
Yeah.
post a video and tag
Yeah.
it. Tag us in it. We want to hear your thoughts.
I would
Mhm.
like to fight about measurement. So if someone wants to verbally
We're
spar
ready
with
to
me,
fight.
I'm ready.
So if you'd like to fight with us, we'll fight.
Anytime.
facts.
Step in the ring.
Also, if you wanted to, give us a DM. It could be
Mhm.
anonymous.
Yeah.
Sort of, you can give your experience with anything related to the topic that we discussed about social media managers not being salespeople.
Yeah.
Let us know your experience, what industry you work in or have worked in, and we can definitely read them next time
That's awesome.
and just reply and maybe like give some advice if
Yeah.
you need it.
Love that.
Amazing.
True confessions.
Yeah.
All right. We're Audi 500, folks.
All right. Thanks for listening. Until next time.